Hi everybody, Jackie here with Brian from Weber Automotive. How are you doing today?
Hi Jackie, doing well. How are you?
Doing good.
Good.
So today we're talking about 5 common car problems that can happen to vehicle owners that can be prevented. Now this is big, and because an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
My favorite
You say
saying.
that a lot, and this is kind of really centered around that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we've got a list of those here, and you're going to kind of go into how these can be prevented, why they come up, and why they're so common.
Yeah, and kind of the order even too. So number 1 is engine failure. Most people know that any engine problem is a very expensive problem to have, and if you have it where it's due to poor maintenance or neglected maintenance, that engine failure will be very expensive, often require replacement. Terribly expensive, especially when it's so easily prevented. So engine failure by changing the oil every 3,000 to 5,000 miles is fantastic. Okay. Whatever the manufacturers tell you for oil change intervals, shorten it by at least 20%, 30% is better. They don't want it to last forever. You do, we do. Oil changes are cheap, engine repair is not.
And that's a really great topic, and we actually have another video that talks about those oil changes and how doing it frequently can really help. So talk to me a little bit about transmission failure, number 2 on the list there. Where does that come from? Transmission
failure often is can be caused by neglect. Some of the manufacturers nowadays are saying transmission fluid is lifetime.
Really?
And there's truth to that. It's good for the life of the transmission. When the transmission quits working, the fluid's done. If you want to extend the lifetime of the transmission, change the fluid.
Change the fluid.
60 to 70,000 miles is a good, smart way to keep the transmission to last as long as you can. The other thing that's a big, helpful thing to keep a transmission alive longer is don't drive it like in a hurry, and don't be too hard on it. I heard a long time ago by an older person that said if you want the car to last a long time and get good gas mileage, drive as if you're stepping on eggshells, the brake pedal and the gas pedal. So accelerate easier and stop easier for that. But the transmission, when you accelerate hard, it's harder on the transmission.
And so getting that service is a really good idea. Getting that fluid changed a couple times throughout the life of the car is a great idea. And just driving a little bit easier, taking it easy on those pedals will really help out.
That helps out a lot.
Yeah. So what about premature brake failure? I know brakes are some of the most expensive repairs along with transmission and engine.
Yes. So how brakes would fail prematurely is if they're not serviced. As we talked about caliper servicing on the website. There's information on that. That'll extend the life of the brakes. Fluid, to change the brake fluid, extends the life. Also, again, drive easy.
Yeah.
If you give yourself a little bit more room to stop, slow down more with a longer distance instead of stopping quick, you could double the life of the brakes.
Wow. It sounds like, becoming like a little bit of an easier driver, a little bit of a better driver, taking some caution in your habits, and getting maintenance can really help prevent a lot of costly things.
It makes everything last longer.
Yeah. And so tell me about the premature tire wear.
Again, that segues right into that too. Tires will last so much longer if you accelerate easier, decelerate, brake easier, and don't take turns like crazy. So when you're in a hurry and you're doing all that stuff like you're in a hurry, the tires wear out so much quicker.
Yeah, putting more pressure and more angst on them is going to really wear them out.
Huge difference. The other thing is proper inflation and alignment. So make sure the tire inflation is set properly. Don't wait for the light to come on the dashboard because it could be a few pounds off. Yeah. Every now and then, every couple of weeks, few weeks, check it with the gauge, because when you get temperature changes, seasonal temperature changes, it also affects the air pressure.
I was going to say, being in Ohio in the North Olmsted shop, the weather here can be really crazy. Mm-hmm. Tires get worn out fast. Yeah. So you have to be careful.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the alignment. Make sure that the vehicle alignment's good. If you feel it starting to pull from to the left or to the right, it's a good idea. It's an indication the alignment's probably a problem, and it will be wearing your tires.
Absolutely. And so what about a cooling system? We all like to stay comfortable and cool.
Yeah, so that's would be the heating and air conditioning system. But the cooling system is a huge part of that. Cooling system is basically to keep all the engine components, transmission, drivetrain components cool.
Keep it from overheating or causing other problems. That's a scary problem people worry about.
It's a big one. When you see somebody open on the side of the road with the hood open and steam coming out, that's a cooling system failure.
Yeah, and summer's coming up shortly here, so it's a big concern for a lot of people.
Yes, and the high temperatures will stress that system. So most people don't think about antifreeze like they used to, because it used to be every 2 years you had to change the antifreeze out. Now it's 50 to 100,000 miles in 5 years plus. And what happens is the freeze point doesn't change. What changes though is the pH, which is the level of acidity. And once it starts to get acidic, it starts to corrode the cooling system components. And the cooling systems are getting extremely complicated, which means more expensive. You got to change the fluid.
Got to change the fluid.
Absolutely.
Got to change the fluid, avoid that corrosion and avoid that breakdown.
Yeah.
So these are 5 really common repairs. If you guys are able to get your car maintenance, stay on a scheduled maintenance, you guys can also get that with Weber Automotive and check out their scheduled maintenance service online. That's a really good way to prevent it, as well as improving your driving habits too. It sounds like these can all be avoided, but they're probably costing you a lot of money if you've had any of those repairs.
Absolutely.
All right, so thank you so much for talking about this with us, Brian. You can learn more at weberautomotive.com and contact them there. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.